Good afternoon and welcome to Yoga Biz Studio, a bi-weekly broadcast of 10 to 30 minutes in length, hosted by me, Carla Wilson, owner of Wilson Media Services, and also by my colleague,
Keeley Mitchell, the owner of Z Living.
And each episode we'd like to bring you, share with you our business, legal, and marketing insights for yoga studio owners and independent yoga teachers. Have you ever considered teaching yoga or meditation classes online? If you search online yoga classes in Google, you will locate no less than 3 million results. 3 million. I did this search the other day. You'll find classes at gaiam.tv, doyogawithme.com, and also yogaglow.com for just a few examples. You'll find teachers that are offering both free and for-fee classes. So how do you go about setting up yourself to teach online? That's exactly what we want to talk about on the show today. As you can imagine, this is a very big subject. This is so big that we could easily teach a workshop. So we're really just only going to be able to scratch the surface about this today. But in our usual fashion, I will have Keeley cover some of our legal and business concerns, and I will talk about more of the technical and marketing concerns with the points that we need to consider when you want to teach yoga online.
Carla, you are so right. We only have like 10, 20 minutes, maybe even to a half hour to discuss here, and there's just so much to cover. We are definitely only scratching the surface on this issue. There are so many legal issues that surround online teaching. When we were kind of planning out this episode, I was like, oh my God, there's this, there's that, there's this. So I am trying to keep this to like 3 of the major issues to bring to your attention on today's show. And then, like Carla said, maybe, this could be a workshop or something, but so today I'm going to try and keep it short and brief to the best of my ability. So the first issue that comes up with online teaching is copyright. And when you go online, you want to make sure your content that you post is protected. One of your websites, when you do the online posting of your teaching, you want to make sure that you have that little copyright symbol at the bottom of your web page. It's the little one with the C in a circle. That stands for the copyright, and you have it up to the current year. So this puts everyone on notice that the content you're putting out is protected and that they should not be taking it. You can also take further steps and register your material with the Federal Registry for copyright. That way you actually, I think it's about $50 every time you register, but you send off your materials to them and they have like this registry, and it just even gives you further protections. But making sure you have the copyright symbol at the bottom of your web page is a huge start, and that will give you a lot of protections. At the same time with copyright, you want to make sure you're not taking anyone else's content. I have been on sites where they might pull from someone else. They want to show an example from someone else teaching yoga or someone else doing meditation. So you have to be very careful that you're not pulling any content from someone else's website, and that could be protected because that could land you in court for copyright infringement. A third thing is, I know many of us, we circulate our content around. If you've shared any of your materials out there with another website or blog, make sure that you still have rights to it and that you did not give up those rights when they took your material. So while you might have been the creator of the material, if you gave it to another website or blog, you actually might have given up your rights to it, and they might have the sole copyright to it. So you just want to be very careful about that. So copyright is the first issue I see with online teaching. The second one is trademark. When you are online, your brand, your name, your logos are front and center for the whole entire world to see. You're going to want to make sure these brands are protected. Trademarking your name and logo is very important. If you have a good product, trust me, there will be copycats. If you're doing a good job, someone will try and jump on the bandwagon. So taking time to research your name and logo so that you're not picking a name and logo that violates someone else's trademark. And then if you're not, then making sure that you're actually protecting yourself. Now, registering your trademark, registering your name and logo for trademark can be expensive. I get that. So there are little ways that you can protect yourself still. You can put, if you've seen in different businesses, a little TM next to the name or logo. Once again, that's putting the world on notice that you consider this a protected mark and that they cannot take it, or you might face legal action. The third issue, which is kind of 3 mini issues within one heading. I
Not
snuck
surprised.
that in there. I know. I'm going to sneak that in there. You may think that while you're not teaching in person, you don't need those liability waivers and form consents. You don't need to worry about insurance, but you do. So even if you are teaching online and you're not in person, you need to make sure you are protected in that manner. And I call this the best trifecta for protecting yourself when teaching online, is to make sure, one, that you've incorporated your business, so that should anyone want to sue you, they're not suing you personally, they're suing the business. This is a great way to build a protection around your personal assets. You guys hear me say this all the time, so yeah. This is no different.
Absolutely.
Make sure you have the proper liability insurance. Do not assume that your current insurance that you have for teaching yoga covers online. There's a few companies out there that actually cover you online. Most insurance companies that cover yoga instructors does not have that insurance, and it's generally they'll call it media insurance. So make sure you have that in place, and then also maybe have it built in onto your website, blog, wherever you're posting this, that in order to get to your online video, that they have to sign a waiver of liability and an informed consent to protect you. Because you actually, if someone gets hurt following your video, you can still be liable and sued. And since this, once you're on the internet, you are international, the more protections you have, because you have less control over who is watching you. So the more controls and protections you can put in place, the better off you'll be. So while I only touched 3 points, or technically maybe 6 if you add the 3 within, in this episode, I could easily delve so much deeper on each legal issue. I mean, each one of those that I raised, because it goes online, raises a whole bunch of other issues that we could dig deeper on. And then plus there's just so many more legal issues online teaching raises that I haven't even touched upon in this episode. So however, if you address the 3 tips I raised here, you will definitely be off to a good start.
Excellent. Thanks, Keeley. As always, you bring up such, important points. I know it's scary for some folks, but it's so important, and especially if you're thinking, oh, it would be just so, I don't have to worry about a relationship with a studio owner. I could just teach my own classes. You still have to be educated and make sure that you have everything set up properly. So thank you for giving us those 3 and/or 6 tips, depending on how you looked at it. And viewers, I just wanted to remind you that if you would like to ask us questions or comment, especially if you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a little yellow graphic at the bottom of the screen, and just click that, and what that does is navigate you over to a page on Google where we have a question and answer panel. So you're more than welcome to ask your questions or comments, and we will respond to you. Even if you're not watching this live, you can enter those questions after the fact, and we will respond to you the best that we can. So since Keeley's covered these legal and business concerns about teaching online, I wanted to move on to talking about the marketing side. It's important. You want to reach a new audience because you want to by teaching online. So here's what you need to remember. Online audiences absorb content in 3 ways: by reading, by listening, and by watching. So that's really 3 different ways that you could teach online. You could produce an audio podcast of your yoga class or meditation. You could produce a video of your yoga class or meditation, or you could create some type of ebook or blog post of your sequences or your meditation. So, you might want to think about which of those formats you like the best. and then move forward from there. And I think that thinking about this type of marketing, we need to go back to some marketing basics. We need to talk about planning and writing. It's best for you to create a list of what you want to present and in what format. Then you can move forward with the how to get the content to your audience. So, as I often question myself. As business owners, we are not only, we are our sales and marketing department. We are our legal department until we hire someone like Keeley. So we, as our own marketing department, we've got a lot of writing to do. So once you've created your plan about what you're going to present, then you need to write and write and write and write some more. You need to write out the yoga class sequence or the meditation. You need to write the script for the podcast. You need to write the script and create the storyboard for your video. And really a storyboard is just a visual outline of what you want to show. And as far as a yoga class is concerned, it's pretty simple. You're really not trying to do some highly produced video. You want to have just one camera on you on the mat. So it's really not too difficult to create what story you actually want to create with your video. So once you've figured out what you're going to present, you need to figure out how you're going to deliver that content. Are you going to use an ebook, audio, or video? Maybe there's a lot of audiences out there, so you just need to figure out what your audience likes best.
Carla, amazing information as always. And you talked about hiring me, but also with the marketing, we do our own marketing so we can hire someone like you and take that off. I dream of that day because I'm definitely not a marketing person. But yes, always wonderful, wonderful information. And just like me, you're definitely only scraping the surface on this topic as well. So, maybe we should do a webinar in-person workshop. I just already have so many ideas of where we can go because there's just so much information on this.
Absolutely.
So me, after we've discussed this, this takes us to today's takeaway segment. We suggest you go back to some of your previous marketing advice that we've given you. You can go back to past videos, or I think on our site, I'm going to ask the marketing expert, you're able to search like just our episodes where we focused on marketing. And then use that as a guide to write down some topics for a podcast or a video, and start creating a list that you can draw from for your different online teachings, and creating a list of topics that will allow you to plan your online classes better. In previous episodes, Carla's talked about spanning your marketing out there, like going 6-8 weeks out and planning your marketing scheme. So maybe this is twofold. Get your topics down in a list that you're going to want to do, and then maybe get that calendar out and start plotting as to when you're going to actually do each of your online teachings, whichever they may be. So I think that's a good segment. Takeaway.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so on our next episode, which will be 2 weeks from today on October 2nd, we will be discussing the importance of professional development as a business owner. If you have other show ideas for us or feedback, you can get in touch with us in several different ways, either at yogabizstudio@gmail.com, or at our website at yogabizstudio.com, or on the social networks of Google+, Facebook, and Twitter at yogabizstudio.com. We wanted to give you two heads up about some events that are approaching. On Sunday, October 19th at Westchester University, our friends at Philly Area Yoga are putting on what is called Namaste, which is a full day of over 18 talks and yoga classes that you could register for. Visit namastephilly.com. And because she doesn't always toot her own horn, Miss Keeley is hosting a Yogis Business Retreat November 1st and 2nd, also at Westchester University. And you can visit Keeley's website at zliving.com to get more information.
And I will say this, our Yoga Biz Studio newsletters due to go out shortly. And I will have a special discount for the YBS crew in there for the Yogis Business Retreat. So if you have
Awesome.
not signed up for the newsletter yet, I suggest you sign up now.
Good idea.
All right. Well, thanks, Carla. And thank you for our audience for joining us today. Our Yoga Biz Yoga Biz Studio show is brought to you weekly by me, Keeley Mitchell of Z Living, and Carla Wilson of Wilson Media Services. Until our next episode, namaste.